Hello, all, and welcome to the PC Division 3R/F1 Racing League. Today, we are in Monza, the Temple of Speed, as it is known in the motorsport universe, and I am joined by Tom, Mark, and Mads. How are you all doing today?
Doing very fine today. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking, and I think we're going to have an amazing race in our hands today. As it stands, we are about 8 minutes into qualifying. Most people have gotten their first runs in. Actually, everyone's gotten their first runs in, but not everyone with laps on the board. Track limits here can be a little bit tricky. Not as bad as a Canada or a USA per se, but Italy is still not very easy. There's a couple corners where the curbs are just so easy to ride over. You lose no time essentially, and it gives you such a good run through the next couple corners. So and as we see here, a championship leader, Timalele, down in P7. That's a bit of a shocker. Mark, what do you think about that? What's going on with him?
I assume he just can't get a lap together. Since the last race, we've had Hamlin uh, join Timalele as Dingo's dropped out, and Hamlin's teammate has also dropped out. Um, I think Timalele is just he's invalidated the current lap he's on, but I think he'll pit. He's got 9 minutes to put in a good lap, and I dare say we'll see that both Mercedes 1-2 at the end of qualifying.
I think that something that could be happening here is he's going very, very slow on his out laps, and I think that his tires might just be a little bit cold during these runs. So he's losing a lot of time and not getting a lot of grip from those soft tires, even though they should be super fresh and should be giving you all the sorts of grip that you would need. But yeah, as we see him now, oh, we actually have someone spun around. I believe it's an Alpha Tauri. But Tim Lele in his first going through the first chicane navigates it all right. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see his sector split coming up here. He was 3/10 down on Codeman last I saw, but coming across the sector line now, and he is down at only a tenth and a half from his previous run. So he's still got a lot of time to make up in these coming corners. Takes that smoothly, doesn't get any wheel spin, and just carries as much speed as possible through the Lesmos coming up. And now this is very important to get a good run onto the back DRS straight. He shifts early to minimize the wheel spin, maybe a little bit too early. Might have cost him a little bit of time there, but let's see what his time is coming across the sector 2 line. He's down 6/10. This is the pace he would need to match Codeman, but Codeman is 4/10 off of pole, and he invalidates coming across the final corner of the Sky chicane.
Yeah, so easy to do that. Just carry too much speed through that chicane, and just a little bit wide, and then all of a sudden your lap's gone.
All right,
He's
Hamlin also on a fast lap right now. His teammate, he is only up about a quarter of a tenth from his first sector, but his banker was very, very solid. Takes a little bit of curb on the Lesmos. It's not ideally what you want to do. Coming into the back straight here, misses the curb, runs wide, and that is not an invalidation. He decided to stay out wide and hope that sometimes the game just won't give you a penalty if you're out of the track long enough, because it'll think you lost time. So he gets away with that one there. But he is now 2.5 tenths down on his time. So I think he's going to back out of this lap, and he has.
Yeah, very.
And P2, John Lemon set an amazing lap, a 19.9. What are we expecting pole today to be?
I think that 19.6 is pretty much pole, as we've seen. Even Hamlin isn't going much faster than that. I think the rest of them would just be trying to get as close to that as possible.
Yeah, I also
I'd have to
think that
agree.
1:19.6 is probably very close to what the pole time will be. I know that in Div 2, the pole time was a 1:19.2, and what was it in Div 1?
Div 1 was a 19, or sorry, an 18.6 or 18.7, I believe. Yeah. I think that today, I think we'll see. I'll be surprised if anyone gets into the bottom half of the 19s here. That'll be definitely a very impressive lap, especially because Timalele finds himself in P10 at the moment. He's going to be looking to try and set a faster time, as he definitely has a bit of a bit of a reputation to uphold here. He has decided he's elected to stay in Division 3, and at the moment, it looks like he's not able to retain his top spot. But
Well,
his new teammate, Hamlin, doing the job just fine there.
Monza has a very different feel about it, and was a lot of other tracks. You're looking at carrying speed through corners. Monza's very much, if you're good on the brakes and if you're good on the traction zones, then nothing else really matters.
Vitek, to answer your question, Hamlin is in the murk today because both Timalele's teammate and Hamlin's teammate have dropped out, which would leave two solo drivers. And giving Timalele double points for his races did not seem to appease many of the people. But of course, putting Hamlin on his team is not a great alternative for them, but it's better than getting double points, basically scoring 50 points a round if he wins each time. So yeah, they're now on the team together. Hamlin is now Lewis Hamlin, as his name suggests. But yeah, so that's why. And the Racing Point team has been retired.
We've got Trickfoot already retired from the session. I don't know if he had a incident.
Yeah, I
Raw
must have had
13
something
going very
happen.
quickly, actually. He's coming up to, I think he's just invalidated, actually. But he was half a
Yes,
second up.
yes,
He's still
that's very
killing the
unfortunate from
points.
him. Also, Raw 13 with a new teammate who had only joined last race here at the round two of us, well, not round two, but the second Australia race. Um, Now he has a teammate, MXV, one of his good friends from real life. So he's looking to make his mark on the league. But of course, he
Timalele
joined quite last minute. So go ahead.
Timalele's staying in the pits, interestingly. I wonder if he's hoping that he stays 11th and maybe can start on medium tyres. But for a guy who should be on pole position, it's a bit of a curious decision he's made.
Yeah, definitely. If he was looking to start on an alternate strategy, it would make more sense just to qualify in the mediums because he's had the pace at other tracks in order to do that and still place within the top like 6, 7. But here it just looks like he's missing something.
They could
So
just
looking
be
at the
waiting for the absolute last moment where the track is as rubbered in as it can possibly be, and obviously as fast as it can be. One of the Mercedes is coming out now, and that is Timalele.
Yeah, so looking at the qualifying order now as people head out of the pits to start their third and final runs. We have Hamlin on pole position, 3 tenths ahead of John Lemon, who has typically not been a great qualifier, but has found himself in good positions in the race just from his experience that he had from last year, also racing in Division Three. Then we got the two Haas's, typical. They've shown great pace and very consistent throughout the races, taking multiple podiums a piece. But I don't think either of them have gotten a win yet. They're looking to change that this time around, hopefully. King Walrus, 5th place. Very solid showing from him as well. He's not been a great qualifier either, but like similar to John Lemon, he did race in Division 3 last year, so he has that experience in the race that allows him to put himself in better positions to score some good points.
And Stat
Then
just
we have
comes across the line, and I think he's improved quite a bit. He's up to 10th now, pushes
it,
Timalele down to 12th, and Raw
yeah,
13 is out of the top 10.
that's definitely a very
So
good time for him. He's usually been a bit off the pace, but he finds himself in 10th place now. I don't know if he'll have time to do another lap, but it doesn't look like be able to do it.
Mark, you were talking earlier about Timalele might going for staying in 11th, so he can choose freely between the tires. How do you think the tire strategy will play out this race?
Well, there's no rain, so there's not much strategy going on, but it'll be soft to medium or medium to soft. I think if there's a safety car and maybe the first handful of laps you can put on the hard tires. I
Oh,
haven't
right.
tested it out in
I
this
would actually
game.
like to add that the reason why Timalele is quite off the pace is because he's using a temporary setup with a tiny little 13-inch laptop screen on top of a couple books and an Airbnb. So that would be the reason for his lack of pace at the moment. So it'll definitely be an interesting race for him today. Probably will get a little bit more action than he usually sees. So this is not something that is going to be typical of Timalele as he comes around. Let's see what he sets in this first sector here. Last time he goes purple, almost 4 tenths up on his old time.
Oh,
Oh,
all
Uh,
ruined
very
there.
slow. Yeah, went way
Just
too
went
hot into the first corner.
too deep, brake too late, and once you get that wrong, yeah, it just totally ruins your race. Nothing you can do about it.
so
It's still going.
do you guys think John Lemon will choose that strategy as well, or do you think he will do something
Oh, Codeman's just
different
gone
entirely?
pole with a 19.4.
There he is into the bottom half of those 19th. A very, very solid lap for him. Improved 5 tenths on his old time. Actually, about 6 tenths on his old time, I'd say. Let's see if Hamlin's going to be able to challenge for that. So at the moment, Timalele coming around the final corner. Gets the throttle down nice and early. Runs a little bit wide, but then coming across the line, he will start P7. So for a temporary setup, I'm sure he's not too disappointed with that, but hopping on board with Hamlin now, he's going to be looking to take back that pole position from Codeman. Takes a lot
He's
of curb on the
really
second last mode, runs wide again, doesn't get invalidated though.
seems to be a tactic he's using there rather
He's
than a
backed
mistake.
off.
Go.
So it's Chamblizi's actually taking pole position as well.
With a very good time.
The two
That's
Haas's
really
find himself
impressive.
in 1-2. Hamlin backed out of his lap. John Lemon into the pits. King Walrus has retired. The nearest challenger is going to be Ohe, who just came around the second Lesmo.
Well,
Let's
we've
see what
seen
time she has.
how quick the two Hasses can be and how consistent they are in the race. Without Timalele running around in front of them, we could be on for a Haas 1-2 here today.
Yeah, Torre goes
Pretty
fifth
good
fastest
scoring
with a
there from
20-0.
Ohi.
Ohe, though, coming across the line. I believe she was only about a 10th up on her old time coming into the start of Sector 2. And she runs wide, and that's almost certainly going to be an invalidation, but no, it isn't. And she improves by a 10th. Does not change her position, though. So the order looks to be pretty solid now, I believe. Yes, everyone else is either in the pits or on slow laps. So at the end of qualifying, we have the two Haas's taking a 1-2. Chamblizi, who has typically been the faster Haas driver, but only 400 separate the two. So we should be in for some very good inter-team fights here. And then P3 is going to be Hamlin. Rounding out the second row, we have John Lemon, who I don't think improved on his third final lap. Attore, fifth position, followed by King Walrus, Tuki Ohe. Timalele down in ninth, not used to being there usually just because he's using a temporary travel setup. But let's see, I believe he'll only get faster throughout the race because as he gets more and more experienced with that setup. Raw 13 in 10th place, rounding up the top 10. And then the rest of the runners will have a free choice of tires coming into the race. We have Dennis the Great in P11, AJ Hayter, Stashes and Gashes, Yazan K27, Cosmonaut Jock James, MXV, and then Trickfoot, who did not set a time because he DNF'd early in the session.
And Hamlin didn't actually improve on his first banker lap. So as we said, that time would be pretty close to the pole time. And that prediction pretty much held up. What do you say, guys?
Yeah, that was solid prediction from Mark. I have to give that one to him. But hopefully John Lemon with his girlfriend as his race engineer is able to make some good strategy calls this time around. But with a not very eventful weather strategy or weather at moments, it's not looking like it'll be too difficult. But safety cars, as always, can throw that into the mix. And turn one here can be very, very chaotic if just one person breaks a little too late. It's just a domino effect. They hit the back of the person in front of them. It just goes all the way up, and everyone's got wing damage at that point. It's very chaotic. But in both PC Division 1 and 2, we had clean for turn 1, which is very impressive, and it's a big thing.
Can you believe it?
It's quite unreal, honestly, especially for Division 1. As we are quite known to be a little rough and a little aggressive. But of course, we all want to win. So, but yeah, this is getting a clean turn 1 is something that's been pushed a lot in the Discord this week. And now, just the final one. If we get this one here, we have a triple crown of clean races. So, what are your guys' predictions for the race?
I somehow don't think turn 1 will be clean. I just have that kind of feeling. I think it was a miracle that it was clean in the other two. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. And I do feel really bad for some of the guys, especially in the middle. When you start at the front, it's not so bad because if you get pushed wide, it's not the end of the world. But if you're in the middle and someone hits you from behind, you go straight into the person in front and lose your front wing.
What are you putting the percentage chance at a turn 1 massacre at?
Oh, it's got to be up in the 90s, 95, 96%.
Oh, really?
I think I put it at a cool 69%. So we'll see.
I just don't see how. I mean, these guys, It's not even that they're not that it's not to do with talent. It's to do with experience. They haven't really driven here before. I think a lot of us in Div 1 and Div 2 have done Monza before and probably made mistakes the first time round. So I
Oh wait,
think
we actually have someone who's
Oh,
been
MJ
disqualified from the
has
formation
AJ.
lap.
AJ has
AJ
been
Hader.
disqualified. Oh,
So he's going to be starting on cold tires. That's not something that you particularly want. But actually, speaking of, let's take a look at the tire choices outside the top 10. We have Dennis the Greater, Dennis the Great in 11th, starting on medium tires, as well as Stashes on mediums, and Jock James and Trickfoot, who's at the back of the grid, also starting on mediums. We have someone who is starting on hard tires, though, AJ Hader, who's also going to be starting on cold hard tires. I just realized that making a start, it's going to be very, very tricky for him. He's not going to get a lot of
that's going to be
traction.
interesting.
I would be shocked if he didn't drop at least a couple positions at the end of the first lap. But we still have 3 soft runners outside the top 10, Yazan, Cosmonaut, and MXV. So for overall, my predictions in the race, we've seen these two horses. They've been extremely consistent. Hamlin, although, has shown a pretty solid pace here on that banker lap. He just got a little what's the word I'm looking for? A little greedy on those last couple laps and either cut the corner or ran wide and lost time. So
we've
he's
seen
definitely
enough
looking
of.
at the challenge.
I think we've seen enough of the Mercedes in both real life and in this division, snatching podium positions. I would love to see the two Haas drivers get a 1-2, and I'd love to see John Lemon get some redemption for all the terrible pit mistakes he's made in the last couple of races, and get
Yeah.
himself a podium as well.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that John Lemon is going to take a race win here, and he
Ooh,
will
that's
not.
bold.
That's
He will
bold,
not
very, very bold.
frick up his strategy this time. It will be very smooth. Good execution from John Lemon.
I have a feeling
Ah,
that
here we
statement will
go.
not age well. As we hear the engines rev up. They get held for a while, and they are off. And it looks like Chamblizi has gotten a solid start as Hamlin goes right side by side, takes the lead over Codeman. And it looks like he's going to be able to hold that position. He runs a little bit deep, though. Codeman hopefully looking to maybe get a better exit out of this second corner. But it looks like Hamlin has that P2 secure. Looking down the field, though, we have Torre, who dropped a position to King Walrus. John Lemon dropping 2 positions. So, we actually have a drive-through penalty for Cosmonaut as well, as he did get a jump start, unfortunately. But King Walrus benefiting greatly off that first corner, and it looks like we're clean through the first couple corners. So we hit
Well,
that 4%.
the ghosting certainly saved a couple of them. I saw quite a few cars ghost. Someone's gone massively wide, and it's
Yes,
one of the it's
John
John
Lemon dropping
Lemon.
down the
Oh,
order. Hate to
well,
see it.
this
Looks like he
doesn't
has
look
no
good.
wing damage. Oh, and in front
Even
of
more
him,
cars
that
going
is
wide.
AJ. Oh my gosh! I mean, from McLaren, that's gone wrong. That's John Lemon. He's got
Oh,
front
and
wing
it's
damage, and he is facing the wrong way. That is just a nightmare start for him. Oh,
is this the commentator's curse?
this might be the commentator's curse. Hamlin, though, looking at the front of the field, only 2.5 tenths behind Chamblizi coming onto this long straight. Through Parabolica, faces the dirty air, loses about 3 tenths, and Chamblizi seems to have gotten a better run. Hamlin, though, will likely have this overtake enabled. He does not. He decides to sit behind and form sort of a DRS train here with these top 3 runners. It's going to be interesting to see if King Walrus can stick with them.
Yeah, he's already 1.3, according about 1 second behind. I think by the time they come round the next lap, I think he'll be out of DRS. And Hamlin really closing up.
I
Is he
can see
going to
the
go for a
chat is
whip down the
already.
outside here? No, I think it's better of it. Oh, nearly jumps the chicane. And he's putting himself vulnerable to the other Haas behind him.
And meanwhile, it's only
Unfortunately,
benefiting King Walrus. He's able to stick with them.
the Lesmos, even though, even if you get a bad exit out of the chicane, those Lesmos, it's just so difficult to overtake in. Really isn't enough room. Hamlin goes a little bit wide, hits the gravel, compromises his line, but he's gotten away with it. But all of this has allowed King Walrus to close about half a second on them. And him and
And so now we
Ettore
have the top 5
are
all
within
within.
DRS.
And Timalele actually finds himself in P6, still a couple tenths up, or a couple seconds off the lead group. And we have a full course caution, virtual safety car, as
Jock
Jock
James is out.
James has spun around and lost at the exit of the Ascari, and he is out of this race. The McLaren boys are going to be screaming that it didn't bring out a full safety car, because that's what they needed at this moment to get them back into the race, because they are both significantly off the back of the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be very hard for the McLarens to tow back into any kind of position to take points. So we'll see how they handle this situation, and maybe there will be a safety car later in the race. Who knows?
The safety car restart, though, is
after
going
all.
to be or the virtual safety car restart is going to be very crucial, as it's easy to get a drive-through penalty. Let's see how much time these guys give on their deltas. Because one drive-through penalty can easily lose you the race here. And then they're back racing, and it looks like everyone has gone through cleanly. No drive-through penalties, thankfully. We get to see some more racing then. Ettore bringing up the pack with this top 5 group here.
Hamlin
Hamlin
very close now. Is he
closing
going to
up.
try a move into Ascari?
Thinks better of it. Making a move into the sky can be very, very tricky. It's not necessarily a slow speed corner by any means. You take it about fifth here, but he's got a great run coming out of Ascari. And on the back straight, just before Parabolica, he takes the lead on Chamblizi, but now Chamblizi's going to get the run down the main straight with the DRS. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I'm sure he's got the overtake active.
Chamblizi's got a lot more overtake than
Hamlin seems to have the straight line speed, though, to stick ahead. And it seems like King Walrus is actually falling off the back of the top 5 group here, or the top 3 group. Ettore is going to be looking to get past soon to join up the top 5. We have a 5-second time penalty for Cosmonaut speeding in the pit lane. Very unfortunate. But this top battle, a very, very entertaining scrap here.
Dennis is actually doing quite well on the medium tyres. Looks like he's got the pace to keep up with the car in front. If you can get within DRS of Raw 13, then as Raw 13's been held up by Ohe, if Dennis can keep within DRS, then he'll get that extra couple of tenths boosting him around the lap.
Well, Raw and Ohe has been going at each other for quite some time now. They've been having a really good fight, so it will be interesting to see what Dennis can get from their fighting.
Yeah, their pace seems to be nearly identical, as I've seen them go back and forth a couple times now. But this top 5 group still only about 2 seconds covers these 5 drivers. They're very, very tightly packed, which makes this very interesting, as any one of these drivers could still win this race, as long as they don't lose the lead pack.
I have some inside information that John Lemon is on scenario 578,997.
Oh, and there's a spin.
So...
And it's Codeman, and he's gone round.
Oh, and he's collected.
Well, he was ghosted. So
King Walrus.
King Walrus has made a mistake all on his own.
Oh, okay. Okay, so King Walrus apparently locked up.
Oh, and he goes wide. Oh, into the gravel.
Just tapped the wheel of Dennis the Great, and he's been pushed into the gravel. And that's
very, very unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo driver.
It's just gone so badly, all in the space of a couple of corners.
This finds Timalele in P4, despite the interesting racing setup he has.
Codeman luckily hasn't lost too much time. He can still pull it back and get within the DRS of these guys ahead. But yeah, as we say, Timalele just minding his own, doing his own thing. He's not really been racing anyone, and he's just keeping it consistent.
So over the span of a couple corners, the battle for P1 went from 5 drivers to 2.
Yeah, with
Chamblizi and Hamlin.
With the Haas and King Walrus dropping out, it just meant that Ettore is nowhere near the guy in front anymore. So he'll be hoping to try and catch up a little bit. He's a whole 2 seconds behind DRS, so got Timalele sort of catching up from behind him.
Shamblizi, just I think he's happy at this moment just to sit behind, save some ERS, and force Hamlin to use some of his.
Yeah, it looks like Timolele is much more confident with his setup right now, so he might just find some extra pace to use from this point on into the race.
King Walrus making a move around AJ Hayter, and is just trying to make up for lost time. He's got 5 seconds between him and his teammate ahead, and he'll be looking to close that quite quickly.
Similarly, it's the first track limits penalty, I believe, in the top 5 here. Yes, that is correct.
John's Lemon's day is just going from bad to worse, coming through turn 1 and 2. He just went a little bit wide at turn 2 and collected himself in the gravel. It didn't kill. Well, I suppose it didn't kill his race because his race is already looking a bit sorry, but it's just slowed him down. It's not really what you want when you're right at the back there.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens when we approach this pit window, because I believe an undercut for Shamblizi might be enough to get him ahead of Hamlin. But if that's what he's looking to do, then surely he'll pit around lap 9, 10.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen
tires.
with some of these Monza races, you know, the dirty air isn't necessarily simulated as much as in real life. And so you might consider just staying behind the guy in front until maybe the last lap and then giving it the full DRS and the full ERS down the back straight.
Yeah, we have seen in other races that doing the undercut can be really, really powerful. I know Gabriel, who was first, who took the checkered flag first yesterday in the Div 1 race, did an undercut on 4 people, which was pretty massive, especially when the rain came in. So the undercut can be really powerful here for Shamblizi.
Oh, we have a DNF. Timolele
Oh,
is off at the exit of Ascari. And surely this will bring out some sort of safety car. And it has. We have a virtual safety car.
Again.
Let's be interested to see what happens here. Will neither of the top 2 decide to pit? Neither does a Torre. Making those mediums last for this long would be very, very tricky. So that might be the right decision.
Well, I think it'd be worth at least one person popping into the pits and maybe putting on a different set of tires. I mean, some of these guys, there's, you know, the risk is
King Walrus
might be worth
right
it.
now.
And will he go onto mediums or will he go onto hard? He's going onto mediums. No, that was a different.
He's going on to the hard. Whoever is following in behind him, I believe it's the Red Bull of Trickfoot. No, it's not.
Nope.
Why
King
was that
Walrus
picture out there? No one knows. And we are back racing full speed here.
And Chamblizi's sort of got the drop on Hamlin. And
yeah, he's got a very
nearly took him in the second Lesmo. He's got the full DRS and the ERS open down this straight. And again, I think he is just happy to keep behind. He's used not much of his ERS. He's up to 95%. Using a little bit now.
Oh, yeah, we have another DNF stashes at the exit of the second Lesmo. Hopefully, this would be interesting.
He went very wide into the first Lesmos and hit the gravel, and then on his entry back onto he just hit the gas too much and went into the wall. So that's very unfortunate for stashes.
Well, it looks like there will be no safety car from that.
That's very interesting. I thought for sure at least one of these incidents would have brought out the full safety car.
Well, that's I mean, that's just sorry for John Lemon and Yazan and some of the other guys back there that really could have done with a little bit of a helping hand. But we've seen 3 retirements and no full safety cars.
I think this race definitely would have been spiced up just a little bit more with the full safety car coming out. So maybe some interesting strategy decisions, and of course the field being bunched up once again. So it looks like Ettore is actually closing in on this lead group. He has the race pace to stick with them easily, but he just was unfortunately fell behind after the King Walrus and Codeman incident. And it looks like Codeman actually is struggling a bit to keep up with Cookie. He was only a second behind a couple laps ago, but now he's over 2 seconds behind. And Raw 13 actually appears to be closing in on him, who has lost Ohe by about 6 seconds.
Well, I wonder if
And
it's
then
just you can really time that virtual safety car, and you can gain a couple of seconds. If you drop back a bit, and then once you know it's starting to end, then you just give it the full beans. You can kind of trick the virtual safety car into letting you get a little bit of overspeed.
Dennis the Gray here is in a great position for the rest of the race. He's on medium tires, finds himself in P7 at the moment. So he's looking to go very late in the race and end on those very quick soft tires. He's got a lot of overtaking to do. We have it looks like Cookie has spun at some point or hit the wall during the Curva
That's front
Grande.
wing damage.
Yep, he is missing his right side of the wing. It's very unfortunate
Oh
for
yeah,
him.
the whole wing is. Yeah.
I do not know what happened there. I believe. Yeah, I have no idea what happened. All right, so looking at the back of the front now, coming into Ascari, I mean, Code Chamblizi not quite able to get the run. Oh, it's a little squirmy on the exit. That's going to compromise his run coming onto this back straight.
We can also see that Attore is really catching up with the lead too, so he might be in the mix now.
Coming into Parabolica, and Chamblizi takes a very shallow line, tries to get as good an exit as possible. He seems like he does. He's closing in very quickly. It's surely going to be a quick overtake. And going side by side now, coming into turn 1. Hamlin's going to contest around the outside.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Ooh, very solid defensive move there from Hamlin. He just committed to his line. No contact, very clean racing.
And Codeman and Raw 13 are both in the pits. And that was a bit of a dangerous release.
Medium tires. As well as Raw 13. It's going to be interesting to see where they come out. But I'm surprised the Torre didn't decide to pit this lap either, because if he'd gotten the undercut on these two and they keep battling, then surely he'd be able to possibly take the net race lead. Oh, we have yellow flags. Oh, a huge pile up at the exit of turn 1. We have AJ Hader spun round and a couple more cars involved. I believe it was some people on coming out on cold tires were just surprised by the lack of traction they were getting out of those corners. So Trickfoot apparently, it looks like he does have front wing damage too. He broke way too late, and he's just all over the place at the moment.
And Hamlin
all three of the leaders are going into the pits.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens now if anyone's going to get held.
Hamlin got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, that's going to be extremely detrimental to his race. 5 seconds is a lot of time here in Monza. It's very hard to break the DRS. And they come out in the exact order they came in. And Dennis the Great now comes into the race lead. So he's on those medium tires. Is just going to be looking to pit around lap 17 for fresh softs. And he's going to have a very fun race ahead of him.
Well, if there's another virtual safety car or even a full safety car, Dennis will find himself in quite a good position, assuming it's a little bit later on, closer to his pit window. So if he just keeps out there, keeps doing what he's doing.
Goes up the inside of Raw 13, but breaks way too late, and Raw 13 can't do anything. That was a little bit of a dirty move from King Walrus, I'd have to say. He just locked up and just went straight across the first chicane and parked it right in the middle of the corner. And Raw 13 just had to wait for him to slowly get his car turned around.
Chamblizi right on the gearbox of Hamlin here, down the DRS straight of... And let's see if he can do anything into Ascari.
And on these fresh tires, it looks like Attore isn't able to... but Chamblizi's lost it into the wall, and he's out. Chamblizi's out of the race. This is done terribly for Haas.
And it's a safety car.
Victim.
Oh, and
another
Dennis
victim.
Finally, we get the safety car.
Yes, and Dennis can pit now, and he would be in a really, really good position for the rest of the race.
But Dennis will be able to pit, though, because Sauce will not be able to last the rest of the race.
Yeah,
he's looking to go for medium softs here. Oh, that is extremely That is just absolutely horrible for the Haas team, who are looking like a surefire win here with them starting 1-2.
Well, actually, if you think the safety car is going to be out for 3 laps, that'll take us to lap 16. And if you were to put on soft tires, then that would only
That is
be
true.
11, 12 laps, and that is pretty manageable.
Yeah, on new softs you can definitely go 13 laps. You would be at about 65%, but you can still absolutely go 13 laps on those soft tires.
I don't know if he was already past the pit entry when the safety car came out.
No, no, he wasn't. He was in the middle of Parabolica when the safety car came out, so he could have pitted if he wanted to.
But at least with one misfortune of the Haas driver, we have his teammate now catching up to the lead group here because of this safety car. And he's now got a lot on his shoulders to make up for.
But John Lemon's coming into the pits. He's chosen the medium tyres, probably just playing it safe. And he'll have this opportunity
Hamlin,
now to close up. And actually, everyone from 11th downward is on fresh tyres.
Hamlin seemed to have lagged severely, and he teleported behind a Tory almost in front of Codeman to where he'd almost hit him. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And Hamlin, I think, actually has lost the position because of that lag to a Torre. Wow, that's extremely unfortunate for him. Just some internet issues causes him what was essentially the net race lead. So at this point, looking down the field, we have Dennis the Great in P1 on 12-lap-old medium tires. He's going to have to pit shortly after the safety car ends, so I think it would have been the right decision to put on those soft tires, followed by Attore, Hamlin, and Codeman, all on medium tires, and then King Walrus, interestingly enough, on 5-lap-old hard tires. He pitted, I think, around lap 8, so making the medium tire stretch from there would have been very tricky. Behind him is Raw 13. Oh wait, we actually have Ohei who just got penalized for a severe collision with Cookie.
Doesn't look
5
like he has
seconds.
any wing damage.
Yeah, the game does not take collisions under safety car very lightly. It does not
Oh,
take them very
Cookie
lightly.
actually does. Cookie has wing damage. That's not very good for him.
And Hamlin has also hit Codeman.
Well, he's got 5 seconds for speeding in the pits, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
And now another 5 seconds. That's really, yeah. I think that's game over for him.
And it looks like King Walrus behind them also has wing. Oh no, never mind. It looked like from that angle he had gotten wing damage as well, but seems to be okay. Let's take a look at the penalty situations. Dennis the Great only on 1 warning. Attore also on 1 warning. Hamlin carrying 10 seconds. And he hasn't even got the track limit penalty yet. So Codeman also got penalized 5 seconds for a collision under the safety car. King Walrus carrying no track limits penalties. I'm not seeing many track limits penalties at all here, actually.
And the safety car is coming in this lap as they all bunch up on the run up
So
to the
And both the
Parabolica.
McLarens has managed to catch up with the queue, so they are totally in the running now.
I think at the moment, Attore has got the best shot of winning this race, carrying 0 seconds of time penalties compared to the 2 behind him. And Dennis the Great leading this train off to the restart. And being sure to be very slow, similar to Bottas here. And he's off. He just slams on the throttle, and it looks like it's worked. Attore won't quite get the run under him. But we have a lot of penalties at the back of the field for speeding into the pit lane. So it looks like Raw 13 and AJ Hayden
looking for an opening, and the Red Bull's
Dennis
gone
goes
wide, cut the corner, gotten a penalty for it, and so's Codeman, and that's really ruined his race. And now Attore is in the lead, and considering that Codeman, has he spun or has he just dropped down? And
Codeman has just
Attore,
dropped down the order normally.
and there goes
Attore and Hamlin going back and
on
forth.
Attore.
Hamlin takes the net race lead, but he is carrying 10 seconds of time penalties. And Dennis the Great with 5 seconds, Codeman with another 10 seconds. Well, he has 0.
Well, considering that Hamlin and Codeman are probably the two people that Ettore is going to be fighting with, and they've both got at least 5 seconds of penalty. I think all Ettore needs to do now is just hold it together, and he's got himself the win.
He's just got to stick behind Hamlin now, but that is no easy task.
And John Lemon, I can happily announce that is in the points right now, so it's looking brighter for him by the second.
And Trickfoot looks like going up on the inside of Cookie through Parabolica. It looks like he's able to get the move done.
Well, Trickfoot might have made the best strategy call here because he's on the soft tires with
and
only.
John Lemon capitalizes on it. He's going on the inside of Cookie right now, and looks
Cookie
like
lets him by. Cookie decides it's not worth his time to fight him, and lets him by.
And here comes
Yazan
King
also
Walrus on Dennis, tries to go around the outside. Dennis closes the door, and it forces King Walrus to brake quite hard. And
he now
King
finds himself
Walrus,
in P10.
who really messed up the start, has found himself on hard tires in a very good position. As Dennis's tires are wearing out, King Walrus might be on potentially for a podium here. But he has gone wide in the second Lesmo, collects a little bit of gravel.
And Rotherteen goes right by him. But not quite. He activates the overtake, and there's not much he can do there. He's not going to challenge it going around the outside. Decides to give the position up. Look at the top 3 group. All of them have lost DRS to each other, and I don't even think it's been activated yet.
Oh, and John Lemon has picked up another position on Trickfoot after he got a horrible exit out of Ascari, and now he's going to hunt
gets
for
the move up the inside of King Walrus. So there's just so much going on at this moment. The DRS is active. King Walrus not able to close up to the straight, looks like, on Raw 13. But John Lemon also, we definitely have a train forming here. Causing out 5-second time penalties, speeding in the pit lane. Very unfortunate for him, just making his race just a little bit worse. Ohei goes wide, and Trickfoot's able to capitalize on that. He goes around the outside at the exit of turn 2, but Ohei activates overtake, and bump drafts him a little bit. Coming into turn 4. Here
comes John Lemon behind, waiting for these guys to make a mistake and to make some contact. Hamlin, another 3
and King Walrus has gone off. King Walrus has gone off. He lost it at the exit of De La Roja. And very unfortunately, it doesn't look like he has any wing damage, though. But he is.
That is such a shame.
And also, Yazan's gone around. That's 2 back-to-back. And that has broken up the train a little bit here. But Raw 13.
Oh, when he goes into the wall again. Yazan is out. Yazan is out. Oh.
Oh, the yellow flag is out now.
We are out
There's
of
another virtual safety car.
Well, they're coming round to the pit straight, so I wonder if we'll
Dennis will definitely pit here.
Yeah, he dives into the pits.
Yeah, he does.
So Raw 13 benefiting. Yes, he's done an amazing job so far. Just had a consistent race, not made any big mistakes, and has.
Oh, Dennis has a stop-go penalty. Very unfortunate, but he is going to have a great time going on these fresh softs till the end of the race. We had some really nice runs on the soft tires at the end of the race in Div 2, so Dennis might capitalize hugely on this.
Unfortunately for him, those virtual safety cars ended really quickly, and he isn't even out of his pit box by the time it comes back on.
Yeah, he's found himself behind AJ Hayter as well. And there's such a big gap between AJ Hayter and King Walrus. There's about, 16 seconds. So really, it looks like 10th is just about the best that Dennis can do. A bit unfortunate with the timing of the safety car and the virtual safety car. Maybe if he'd pitted for soft tyres the first time, it would have been all right.
It looks like the gaps have spread out quite a bit. I believe DRS has been enabled for this lap, so it doesn't look like anyone will really be able to benefit that, with the exception of Cookie behind John Lemon at the moment, coming around Parabolica. But the gaps have quite stabilized at just above 1 second from most of these drivers here. The top three, crucially, Hamlin has broken away from Ettore. He really needs to put in some insanely quick laps in order to get a shot at the win.
Ooh, and
See now it's
Trickfoot
13 seconds.
a little bit overzealous into the turn 2 and grabs a load of gravel for his troubles. He's on a good tire in a good position, and he really doesn't need to be making these kind of mistakes. He just needs to keep it on track, keep being consistent, and he should catch up to Raw 13 and be within the podium positions after all the penalties are served.
John Lemon closing up to Ohe as well as Cookie. Hopefully, John Lemon definitely has shown some great pace here. Qualified P4, and we just fell victim to some unfortunate mistakes.
It
So
is the John Lemon way, right?
Hamlin at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, has 13 seconds of penalties.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Compared to Tori's 0 seconds.
So he is at the moment just ahead as Ohe goes really wide in the parabolica, and that's going to give
And that's a
John
free
Lemon
pass
a
for John Lemon.
fantastic. Yeah, that was very easy for John Lemon.
Cookie's going to be a little bit sad that Ohe didn't put up more of a fight there, because he would have liked to close up to the back of the group a bit closer, but he's now within 7/10 starting this next lap.
But if Hamlin pumps out some quick laps, he could find himself actually still in 4th place, as Trickfoot is only 11. Trickfoot's already 11 seconds behind him.
It's also important to know that there are 10 seconds for Codeman, and I'm going to check the penalty situation on round 13 here at the moment. He has a 5-second time penalty as well. I do not know if that's been served, though. It's likely that it's already been served. And then Trickfoot carrying no penalties. So podium is still very much possible, I think, here for Hamlin if he puts in some solid laps here. Oh, hey, trying to get something done on the back of John Lemon here. Now just coming around Parabolica, brace way too late, goes really wide, and that's going to compromise him. And Cookie is going to be looking to take advantage of this, but he's just a little bit too far at the moment.
Cookie's just not close enough to capitalize on these mistakes. Close enough to get DRS.
Goes up the inside. And who will keep this position? Oh, and John Lemon seems to have given it up a little bit. This is definitely a very interesting scrap. It looks like Ohe takes the lead of this little fight here at the moment, though. Cookie
just too much of a wheel spin on the exit of turn 2, and unfortunately that's dropped him back a little bit. He's now outside of DRS range.
And it looks like Trickfoot's lost it, so he's joining this fight as well, and as well as King Walrus from the back, who has managed to catch up. So this fight from 3 people has now turned into 5 people. Trickfoot on fresh soft tires, though, is going to be looking to make some moves at the very quickly here. And up the inside goes John Lemon into his Scary and hits, and he's round. He spun round.
And he ruins his wing.
Unfortunate. John Lemon's race. He could have made something out of that, but just slightly overcooks it and takes a bit too shallow of a line.
And unfortunately, that's 4 virtual safety cars and safety cars combined, which means we won't be having any more. And that's John Lemon's race over, I'm afraid.
I think there's a huge chance that that incident is going to see the stewards table, so we'll absolutely see how that's going to affect the final standings afterwards.
King Walrus is going up the inside of Trickfoot, takes the position, and there's Cookie right behind. But again, just I think getting on the power a little bit too early and spinning up those rear tires, not able to capitalize on the fighting in front of him.
John Lemon heads into the pit for some fresh softs and a new front wing, maybe looking to set a fastest lap here if possible. But that's going to drop him out of the points by quite a big margin, too.
Hamlin out front is setting some incredible laps. He really is just tearing it up now. He's as he's broken the DRS from Ettore, he really is
And
just
Trickfoot
pulling away from
coming,
all of these guys.
trying to make a move on King Walrus, similar to what John Lemon and Ohe did, but he gets the move done this time. Seems Trickfoot did not get the move done. He backs out of it at the last moment, but that's compromised his run. Cookie,
Here comes Cookie,
now Fattori, trying to take advantage of this now. Not
just needs
going to
to
be
get the
close enough to get a move into Parabolica, but
just need to get
maybe.
the braking zone here right and carry as much speed through. And I think that little sniff up the inside was probably a mistake. He just needed to stay behind and not compromise his own exit, but unfortunately he has.
Yeah, he seemed to suffer a lot of understeer through that corner. It's also important to know that he does have a damaged front wing from that safety car incident. So he is really struggling, and it just runs so wide there.
You can see
He's
Ohe
really,
enjoying the DRS from the lapped car in front of him, so that's really good for her race going forward. It's going to save a lot of time from that.
and King Baller seems to have fallen off the back of Ohe. So Ohe seems to be in a very solid position here with 10 seconds being added to Codeman's time. She might find herself in P4 about. Oh, and it looks like Raw 13 has gone wide. No, that's a lapped car of MXV at the exit of the second Lesmo. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not had the greatest debut to Division 3 here.
So Hamlin's got 8 seconds more penalty than Codeman, and Codeman is 7.6 seconds behind. So it looks like even though Hamlin's got so many penalties, he might actually walk away from this one in second place.
That would be extremely impressive from him.
I mean, the lap times he's setting at the moment are absolutely fantastic, and that gap that he's pulled to just about everyone is really impressive. And it's a shame about the penalties. We'll have them reviewed after the race, of course. A lot of these penalties may be revoked, but for what he's doing at the moment, it's a shame he doesn't have the chance to actually fight for the race win overall.
In the Twitch chat at the moment, showing their condolences to John Lemon. Everyone seems to be on his side here.
Yeah, they were really quick after the first incident to blame me for commentators cursing him. So shout out to Twitch chat.
Yeah, this is very entertaining to read because I'm posting in the chat. Of course, looking for any scapegoat to pin John Lemon's race on. You just cannot seem to get a clean race weekend done.
And it seems like John Lemon is the Max Verstappen of this bunch, as he has the most committed fans. Let's say it that way.
Definitely very dedicated. It's the gaps once again. Taking a look, no one in DRS range of anyone. Ettore about 5 seconds off the back of Hamlin, who is with Codeman is about 3.5 seconds off the back of Ettore. So these
Codeman
top
is
three.
hovering around that 8-second gap to Hamlin. It'd be really nip and tuck if he ends up within or outside. Raw
It's
13 as
interesting.
well, dropping slightly back.
King Walrus trying to close up to Ohe, though. That gap was at about 2.5 seconds, but now it's just 8/10 coming into these Lesmos. And he's going to be looking to make some sort of move. He's got the DRS now, but he knows that making a move into Ascari is not very easy. And as you saw ahead of him, John Lemon just got absolutely murdered. It's also important to know that he is on these hard tires. So these medium tires are probably going to be reaching the crossover point where these hard tires are going to be a little bit quicker. And actually, he's lagged back quite a bit. And it might cost him the DRS. Not quite. He is within 8/10. He's within a second of Ohe. So he will get the DRS.
Trickfoot's also messed up a little bit coming out of Ascari, and that's put Cookie right behind him. 6/10, he will get DRS.
Yeah, but Cookie with that front wing damage is going to be struggling to make some sort of move on him. But once again, the soft tires are going to be very old. He's still got 2 laps to go, and he's already been worn for 11 laps. So the pace might not be too different here.
You could just see that Cookie is not as strong in the exit of the corners as Trickfoot, so and that's a really crucial part of the corners here in Monza, because you have to have all the speed you can get down the straight, so the exits are really important. And Cookie right now just isn't exiting the corners at the same level as Trickfoot.
King Waller's going into the DRS straight now, only 5/10 behind Ohe. He's shown some amazing pace. Get the DRS active and the overtake.
And here
He's
he comes.
gonna breeze right by her. And Ohe gives this one up.
Ooh, and a big lock up there on hard tyres. And Ohe will have the DRS, and it is so important on that really long straight to have the DRS.
Cookie though, try on the back of Trickfoot. Trickfoot goes into the grass a little bit. Cookie is gonna try to make something out of this. He's gonna take the inside line. Takes very, very shallow approach. Oh, and Trickfoot goes a little wide, but he gets a solid exit considering the wing damage. And let's see who gets the DRS. I believe it is Cookie who will get the DRS. And this move all but looks done at this point.
And he locks up massively into the first corner as well. I think
Trickfoot's
those
tires are
soft tyres really are coming towards the end. And Ohe looks like it's dropped back from King Walrus.
But at the moment, it looks like Hamlin will take P2, considering he is beyond 8 seconds from Codeman. Unless Hamlin gets another penalty at the end here, which would be just extremely unfortunate for his race. But he seems to have done pretty well to not do that. I believe he still has 3 warnings to give before his next penalty. And on the last lap now, crossing the line, Hamlin wins it on track, but Torre, coming up behind him with no penalties, will take the race win by only a second and a half. Very well done to him. Codeman crosses the line, and Hamlin takes P2. Raw actually takes the final podium position. Very well raced from him throughout this entire weekend. King
Being
Wallace and Ohe
very
crossing the line.
consistent. A lot of these guys. Codeman, I think he's just made too many mistakes in this race. But Hamlin, I mean, that pace to be only 1.5 seconds behind a Torre at the end of it, absolutely unbelievable.
And very consistent at the end of the race there for Hamlin. Really, really impressive.
And it really goes to show how much pace Chamblizi had as well, as he was able to stick with Hamlin like pretty consistently.
And King Walrus only finished 4/10 behind Codeman. So if it weren't for there's a game now says that Cosmonaut has won the race. I'm not sure what that's about.
Yeah, it also says that he has the fastest lap with like 22 seconds or something like that. So that is a little messed up, but yeah, that will hopefully be resolved.
It said his fastest lap was 48 seconds, and I highly doubt it.
Well, it is actually
Cosmonaut wins by over a minute and a half. Well done to him, driver of the day. Absolutely stunning performance. Never seen quite domination like that before.
Yeah, that's incredible. So who would be your drivers of the day?
Well, it's a shame for Raw 13, who's going to have a bit of a Carlos Sainz podium. Not able to celebrate it up on the top on the steps, but I think they've all done really well. And even though Hamlin didn't get the race win in the end, I think I might give him my driver of the day just because of how unbelievably quick he was just in that last stint.
I have to agree, but I think Raw 13's performance just edged up slightly a bit more. It's very close though. He did a very good job to make sure he wasn't involved in any major incidents, kept it on track, didn't spin, and despite being a little bit slower in qualifying, moved up 7 positions in the race to take the final podium slot, regardless of what this result screen says. Cosmonaut did not finish P1.
I'm going to go for John Lemon purely based on the fact that he had 3 pit stops, and that's the most of anyone, tied with MXV. But John had a stellar showing after that, so John will be my driver of the day.
Are you sure
especially
you want to
inside
say
my
that?
heart?
Because the crowd is gonna murder you if you don't.
Well, it might be pandering to the audience, but in my heart, John will always be.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna be it for this race. Be sure to use your Twitch Prime subscription if you enjoyed. We'll be back next week in Austria, I believe, for Division 1 on Saturday and Division 3 at the same time today. So we hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you then. I'm Kato, Mads, Mark, Tom. Thank you for joining me. See you guys later.
Take care.